Have you ever deleted an item away in Terraria? I think you said yes in your head, but I am sure sometimes you had to regret this decision because you needed this item for whatever reason, but you didn't have this at a certain moment. When I was a mage during my 100 days Terraria live streams, I needed a blue normally looking flower, but at the first point I didn't thought it was important for the after game, and so I just trashed it away. But after a while I realized I needed this because I had to craft myself this what you see on your screen, some random stuff for a mage. I think the mages of you know this, but I didn't have it. But so here are the 10 most useless items in Terraria which you really don't need in this game, maybe except the 10th item that comes right away. So let's just begin. At 10th place we have the quad racer drone. I put this on number 10 because it has some purpose in the game, but it's not a main purpose, and that is the achievement to infinity and beyond, where you have to fly a quad racer out of the top border of the world, and you can get this quad racer drone from the cyborg NPC for 10 gold, which I think for achievement it's a pretty affordable price, but there's nothing more or nothing less. You can just fly around with it, maybe have some fun if you really enjoy this, but I think most of you just bought this for the achievement, and I think it's a purposeless item. On the 9th place we have the Royal Scepter, and I know it's a vanity accessory, or maybe some of you don't know this, but it's a vanity accessory. And I only put this on the 9th place because first it doesn't serve any purpose as an vanity item, of course, but it also costs 1 platinum coin, and you have to buy this from the princess, and for this, if you don't know, you have to have all NPCs in Terraria together. So I think this is one of the biggest time wastes in Terraria, except you really want the scepter for whatever reason. Also, if you want to sell it back, you only get 20 gold coins, which I think it's a little bit of a robbery, but it still somehow deserves the 9th place because it's a vanity item after all. At 8 we have the Spectral Goggles, which you can buy from the cyborg NPC for 10 gold, but you have to be in a graveyard biome. If you don't know what this is, it's a semi biome or it's a small biome, and if you want to get this, here's a video on the top right corner for this. And this goggles gives you the ability to see echo blocks, which you can buy again from the cyborg. I think one of these costs, I don't know, 75 silver or something. Not too expensive, but I think it is not worth it. And I'm 99% sure 50% or even let's say 80 don't know of this item, which I think it's a pretty useless item which most of you don't use, so it's a purposeless item again. The 7th place gets the fairy glow stick, and you can buy this from the zoologist NPC for 75 copper, and I think this is a pretty useless item because I'm sure again 90% of the players don't use it. Also there's a better alternative, which is the normal green glow sticks, which I think most of you use, or just normal torches. So yeah, I think pretty useless. You have to pay more, and it lasts I think exactly the same time, and the only bonus is that it just looks like a fairy. Also, I forgot to say, you don't only need the zoologist, but you also need to have the 3 fairies recognized in your bestiary. This is your collection book, which you can see also next to your inventory. And these fairies, I am sure most of you have met them at least once, and they lead you always to some chests or to some treasures which you can then loot, and overall they are not a bad thing in the game, but you just have to see them unnecessarily, and it gets more harder to get these fairy sticks. At the 6th place we have the cannon, which you can buy from the pirate NPC for 25 gold, and I put this on the 6th place because sure you can do damage with it, but I think it's too unprecisely, and I think non-normal players would play with this, and I think also it does too little damage, and you pay too much for this thing just to stay around and literally do nothing, because this is in such a bad way to deal damage to bosses. It's ineffective, and we don't have to forget that it's a hard mode item because you have to get this from the pirate NPC, which it makes it even more unattractive to purchase. Number 5 are the landmines, which you can buy from the demolitionist. But the problem with this is you have to, or you can buy them after you defeated Plethora, and at least one pirate invasion has been defeated. And the problem with this is one of these costs 5 gold, and it does only 250 damage at hard mode level post Plethora, which I think it's pretty absurd and useless at this point. And also it doesn't matter what it steps on it, but if something steps on it, it just instantly destroys, which I think is pretty normal. But I think in Terraria this is pretty bad thing because during daytime you have bunnies or some other little pets that may walk around this and somehow randomly explode. I don't know for what reason you would buy this. Just another useless item you really don't need in this game. So here's number 4, and that is the dirt rod, which you can buy from the Dryad NPC for 5 gold. And I think it's one of the most useless items. I thought I could place it more further in the placement, but I thought number 4 was okay, because you can just simply, for 5 gold, you can just simply move dirt blocks with it, as you see on this footage. But I can just do simply like this, and then I just have it. And I think you can only place from block to block and not take multiple blocks together. And you cannot even do damage with it, which it makes it really a useless item. And I showed you my really easy method how to move dirt blocks if you didn't know. On the 3rd place we have the ruler, which you can buy from the Goblin Tinkerer NPC for 10 silver. And I think it serves no purpose, because you have to buy this firstly after the Goblin Tinkerer, so it means you have to already completed the Goblin Invasion. And for this you need some decent weapons, maybe like a platinum armor or something, and maybe, I don't know, a Muramaza, or I don't know, something like a grass salt or something else. But the problem with this is it does only 12 damage, like a copper salt or a tin salt, which makes it so useless that I think even most of you didn't know this, except you know this only for its reputation of an useless item. So I don't have to say much about this. Let's just move to number 2. Here we have the Guide to Critter Companionship, which is a tool that prevents player attacks from harming critters. These are something like butterflies or bunnies or squirrels, and you can buy this from the zoologist for 5 gold, which I think it's a pretty okay price. But I think who used this and why? Because I think most of you won't hurt the pets, or if you do, you do this on a purpose. So I think another useless item here. And don't ask me why Terraria added this, maybe to make maybe the zoologist maybe more special, or for some of you who collect maybe these diamond squirrels, or I don't know, diamond bunnies, or this all shiny pets. If you know what I mean, I will show you a photo, of course, if you don't know. Otherwise, I have no other idea why Terraria would add this. And on the last, or the first place better said, we have the Pearlwood armor. This armor has a total, if you have the total set, 8 defense. And don't forget, or if you didn't know, this Pearlwood you can get in hard mode from the Hallowed biome. So basically this means you have to enter hard mode first to get yourself a normal wood armor, which you could possibly get in hard mode. Not as strong, I know, but it doesn't matter, because on this place you could potentially get yourself a cobalt armor, which I think far more stronger. Is in melee you have 32 defense, or then palladium, which also has the same amount of defense, which makes it a totally better deal. Also you get the buffs from the palladium and cobalt armor, and on the normal Pearlwood armor you don't get any buffs. So I don't have to say much more, but I wish if Terraria watches this video, maybe you could do a little rework on the Pearlwood armor, make at least more defense and a little buff, maybe like a movement speed. That is what I would wish for the Pearlwood armor. And these were the most useless items in Terraria. If you know more, write them down in the comments. I would maybe give you a hurt or something like I usually do on the comments if you recommend something that may be useful. Also I could do a part 2, but I don't know if Terraria has so many useless items, but just write them down and maybe we will see for the future. Now, if you didn't like the video yet, I would very appreciate if you do it right now, because you watched to the end, then it must says that you like this type of content, and I would very appreciate if you subscribe to the channel. With that you help me a lot. Otherwise, go watch this video now. It's a little bit more different and I edited it a little bit different, so I want maybe feedback from you. You can write down a comment after you watch it to the end if you liked it or not. And otherwise, I have a Discord, link is in the description if you're more interested, but I don't have nothing to say, and I wish you a very nice day. Goodbye.